Like the Overwatch League here, it's me, Avril, with a leg day for the second match of the day. Once again, this time it's going to be Dallas Fuel versus the Seoul Dynasty. It's the one that we've been waiting for, but I think the monkey's paw is probably going to curl for us, Harry, because ironically, it would actually be purely a day of absolute cinema if somehow Jaws and Custer, despite having to cast Shanghai Guangzhou, actually get into the map 5, and then we end up with a 3-0. That would be insane, but it would be absolute cinema for all the wrong reasons.
There's a world where the lads just pull an absolute heist of premium Overwatch, and one of these teams just collapses like a souffle. Here's a quick look at your Seoul Dynasty. You're well familiar with them now. We've been singing the praises of Prophet since day one. In Overwatch, Bellows 3 has been my personal cheerleading project for the last couple of matches, but who I really want to zoom in on is EasyHan. Yesterday, Avril, you gave your player of the match vote to EasyHan to reveal behind the scenes, and after extensive review of the evidence, I agree with the man from New Zealand. EasyHan has been a real coup for the Seoul Dynasty and a fantastic pickup and addition.
You have to specify it's me that's the man you're talking about, because otherwise people are like, wait, EasyHan is from New Zealand. Whoa, lore. No, it's that me he's talking about. Look, everyone on this team has played well so far. It's a huge turnaround late in the season, but also the best time to have a turnaround, you know, similar to where the Guangzhou Charge currently are. They just beat the Shanghai Dragons. Honestly, they didn't have that much to show versus the Seoul Dynasty yesterday. Shanghai actually looked stronger versus Fuel than Charge did versus Dynasty, and yet Charge came out ahead of Dragons, so that is, you know, a crazy result, but well done to the fellas. And well, the loser of Dallas versus Seoul Dynasty is going to have to face the Charge. Might be Dynasty getting their second match versus Charge. Could be Dallas Fuel, and I don't think Dallas has played the Charge in a while. But yeah, I mean, Dallas, they've had their own insane runs. Go ahead and meet the team.
Reigning champions, Avril, reigning champions, yet struggling here, trying to book their ticket to our playoffs over in Toronto. You guys don't need introductions to so many of these players. Bliss, of course, being the only newbie on this team, but I think that has very much proven that he belongs amongst these Titans. Has been a pleasant surprise on the main support as a very frag-heavy, both Lucio and Brigitte. Of course, this is a meta that can often demand more of your other support player, and tries to maybe move into some Ana, into some BAP, and we're often seeing double flex support setups, but for Dallas Fuel, it's always been about the speed and the movement together, so the Lucio fits just fine.
Now, there's a fun fact between these two teams here. They've actually, so far, this entire year in the 2023 season, have played each other once. That's it, and it was back in spring stage qualifiers. They've never met in knockouts because they've always been on opposite sides of the brackets. By that, I mean different brackets entirely. And they didn't face off in the summer stage qualifiers either. So second half of the year, you know, with the inclusion of all the different contenders teams, it just so happened that in the way the scheduling worked out, Dynasty Fuel was not one of the games that we saw. So it was a 3-1 win for Dynasty in spring stage. When was that? It was May 13th. It's been, it's like 4 months ago, dude.
Yeah, it's worth noting that at that point, both of these teams were also poo. Like, it was slow starting for the Dallas Fuel, but they have definitely now found their groove. The Winston meta wasn't particularly well suited to, and of course, Seoul Dynasty since then have actually swapped out a good number of their members, sending Prophet over to O2 Blast, where he's been working out a little bit nicer, and of course losing Lee Soo-min and gathering Vindime, who is up in our Baptiste stats here. Less deaths per 10, but everything else seems to be going the way of MCD. Is worth noting, but
I was just going to check something else. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Dallas and... Sorry to interject, I just spotted something. I don't think Dallas and Seoul have really played each other that often, generally speaking. This is one of the more rare matchups in the Overwatch League, because you'll obviously remember that
Different
Dallas had
regions.
only joined the East for this year. Previously, they were completely separated by regions. Obviously, we were all one big region in the first 2 years. So, I mean, they played each other once this year, once the last year in the playoffs with Dallas 3-0. That was Dallas on the championship run, obviously. And then before that, it was in... I gotta go really far back on this one. 2019.
Yeah,
So
back when we were
in the
all in
last
LA.
like 4 years, they played each other like 3 times. I think in total they've only played each other like 7 times. That even includes 8 times would be including a third-party tournament. But like 7 times overall. This is like one of the rarest matchups in all of the Overwatch League.
I mean, if we go all the way back to the ancient Dwarven runes as well, these 2 teams are actually some of the favorites in power rankings to win the first Overwatch League season, being formed of Lunatic High and Envious at the time. One of the favorite Western teams, and of course one of the favorite Eastern teams as well, featuring heroes like Miro and Ryuje Hong. But now we are over on Lijiang Tower, and this is exactly what we've come to expect from these teams. The Orisa versus the Junker Queen.
And that's the matchup, right? This is the clash of styles. It is the Hanbin versus Belashriga scenario. Be doubtful to see Void in today. Love that Krillin comes through on the Ana straight away. That's exactly what you need to shut Hanbin down. But it's going to be easy hunted to Edison. First Bastion on Bastion. Hanbin trying to come in from behind. Dallas going to salvage the situation, but I don't think they can.
Unbelievable wall there from Prophet. Just isolates Edison, makes him easy prey. Still Bliss tried to frag it back a little bit and taking out Vindime.
Good sleep.
Put to sleep permanently at the hands of Krillin, and this should be an opening pick here for Seoul Dynasty, which is going to be great because it means that Prophet can play in a defensive position and set up these walls to try and spring some traps.
And look, I wasn't a fan of the Prophet May yesterday, but that's a matchup-specific question we are asking here. This time around, the matchup is really good into Dallas Field because you are counter-comping here. You have the Ana for the Junker Queen. You have the May as well, which kind of splits up the aggression of Dallas Field playing this very aggressive style. So, yeah, it's a totally different look in terms of what the Dynasty are bringing on board versus the Dallas Field. Prophet already had his May practice yesterday. A lot of util force, so it's Wall and Lamp gone.
Yeah, that's a lot. Seoul Dynasty now maybe feeling a little bit nervous about this forthcoming engagement. Sparkle's going to have another TP coming up soon. So Krillin and Vindime are going to be in the danger zone. Going up high here, but doesn't present any immediate danger. Yes, the wall is forced out still. Now it's going to be exchange of tank modes here. Double damage coming out from Easy Han. Sung his praises thus far. Can he find a target? You bet the MCD is going to peek that one. Tests Easy Han. You don't test the bad boy, because he will hit you back. Now comes a photon barrier here from Sparkle, believing this one to be winnable. It seems that the prophecy is going to be coming true. Not quote the ancient words to Sparkle. He was there when they were written.
The problem there was they couldn't get Sparkle down. He was slept at about 97, but he wakes up eventually at the end of that cycle and is able to use the photon barrier. And it is a fight-winning ultimate. As the Bastion damage only goes in one direction, Easy Han is not able to really impact the fight at all. To get rid of these sim turrets, because Prof had to burn Ice Block just to get through the choke.
Oh, what a boop right there. Trying to grab Prophet, knowing that they don't have that Ice Block. Still, accuracy not quite there, but last one held on to for just a second longer. Edison trying to hoodwink the Seoul Dynasty on their entry, and still there's more homework to do.
Blizzard time. No Symmetra TP. This is the best time to get the Blizzard in. Very hard to escape from it for ultimates coming online for Dynasty, but it's easy to hunt down.
Yeah, Rampage is ready as well, and Hanbin can see all of his players lined up. Dare he test his metal? The wall's been used as well, so many interruptions have been fled aside. And Bellatrix is having to play around the outside just to try and extricate himself from the danger. Dallas Fuel are just remaining in control here for a while, not trying to overextend themselves, knowing the danger of that wall, and that Seoul Dynasty are close to 5 ultimates.
Vindime was just behind on the Ant Matrix, and that was a bit of an issue. So couldn't really contest MCD. The main wall was gone as well from Prophet because he's had to burn that a number of times quite early for multiple reasons. Bellatria's going to stop the rampage, and that's going to kill Hanbin as well. 2 for 0 so far. Easy Han scooping both. Still 3 ultimates online for the Dynasty, and Vindime this time is going to have the window up, and it's going to just tear through the Dallas Field.
And it's for newbie on the team, Easy Han. Of course, he didn't have a spell with the LA Valiant last year, but fairly ignominious. That team did take a while to get their first win, and boy, were you happy to be casting when they did. Dallas Fuel now moving forward with the teleporter. Bliss running around the back. That's going to be a huge anti coming through. Easy Han just given so many targets. Oh, they're just lining up in front of a minigun, but it's anything but small. He's a big boy and he can handle all of them.
Beautiful nade as well. Bliss tried his hardest there. Time's running out now. Even with TPs here as well, Hanbin wants to go Diva. They're giving up on the Queen early. They do have a Photon Barrier. We noted that as a pretty strong win condition before. Prophet under pressure. They got to save him. Nano's still available. Krillin can use that to bail out one of these members. Depending on who is lowest, it might end up being Prophet, but Bellisria caught a lot of aggro there. And Terror Surge catches a couple members. Mortality Field, though, doesn't get broken by anybody.
No one shoots the Immortality Field, and Sparkle still takes enough damage to go down now, forcing Hanbin off the point now that the Mech 2. Seoul Dynasty have complete control of the geography here, and as Edison descends from the skies, all he is giving is an ignominious crash landing, as Dallas Fuel end up being scuppered on Control Center.
Interesting last fight. Hanbin coming through in the Diva instead. I don't think you're going to have the same level of impact on this type of composition without the Queen. And Photon Barrier, we've talked about it before, typically quite strong, but if Dallasville can't get enough advantage in that time, it's going to do them any good. And let's remember what this moment was. Was it the Rampage? Yeah, it was. It was spared, so Bellisriga's going to be the only one that pops any sort of damage from the Rampage, but he's a tank. He doesn't care. He's got the Fortify. Allows Easy Hunt just to sweep on through with the double kill there. So it was one of the good moments from Bellisria and one of the ways you need to counter the Queen.
Once again, we're going to say, oh, hello.
No way.
Oh, this. Okay, just a shout out from Bellisria. The additional speed boost, and Sparks actually used the TP to roll out here.
Surely you're not going to get a mirror here, but no, you just got to do the TP out of spawn. Got baited slightly there. Usually I don't get baited by that, but you know, my mind was willing to believe
Sparkle
for a
use
second.
the early TP as well. Like, a lot of things were coming together there that weren't quite standard. Of course not. Oh, this is an early TP as well. Just moving straight onto the back line. Easy Han using the wheels down, so that means everyone has to evade away from a minigun. Evasion, though, pulled in a little bit, but the wheels mode is over, so a dangerous pass. Edison, he's gone. Bellisria picks that one up, but it's an exchange of DPS, and Sparkle's still around to try and cause some mayhem. Dallasville going to retreat off to the point here, and once again have to flee. Hanbin just about fast enough, but now
stuck in the corner.
This is going to be an absolute bully boy moment from Bellisria, just beating Hanbin to death, and Easy Han's there for the finish.
Yeah, no one's there to save him. I think MCD already used the lamp, or only just came online again now. Photon Barrier, can it save the day? Sparkle's down. Edison late respawning. It's Bliss, actually, that might be able to get it done for the team. MCD has a window alive. There's like 2 players alive for the field right now with Hanbin coming back from spawn. They need to regroup. Easy Hunt, late death. Okay, Edison's coming in.
There's no way. It's still going. It's still going. Dallas Fuel just refusing to give up. Truly great determination, violence, and carnage are the tenets by which Dallas Fuel live.
I just forgot about Edison. He was still on main somewhere. He was still floating around the map, and he comes in, snipes out 2. Spark also ulting from spawn. Bliss getting in the kill feed when the numbers were low as well. There was a lot of factors there for Dallasville in terms of individual prowess that had to bail him out of what was a rough-looking situation. Maybe another rough-looking situation. Now Hanbin needs a bit of help. Sparkle as well.
So much have to go into this to try and take down Hanbin, and eventually the man is found. It's Bellisria who gets final blow after final blow. The Warhorse rolls forward and makes sure that those trenches are cleared, my lord.
Getting caught behind ice walls. That's Prophet's game plan. And in a quote-unquote rush mirror. I mean, obviously the sim is going to be extremely important to get to the enemy lines, but more important for the Dallasville because they need to get real into melee. For Prophet, it's about isolating Hanbin or other members. Krillin under pressure. He's probably dead here, surely. No, saved.
Bliss might be in trouble himself. Bellisria weighing up when to use this Terror Surge. Doesn't want to drag someone into the Blizzard for now. All it forces for disengage, but with Edison down, Dallasville are a little bit undermanned to try and siege this away from Seoul Dynasty.
And that one just grazing shot clips Bliss's heels, but does not pin him to the wall. And had that javelin hit, I think Bliss is dead 100%, so that would have been pretty nasty. New barrage comes down with the artillery. Catches MCD slightly. All it will do is burn his shift away.
Evasion pretty strong. Prophet weighing up, using the ice block. The wall's used already. Bellisria around the corner. Terror Surge still in that back pocket. Remember, it gives over some fortifiers. Oh, Hanbin's in the back. He's marauding. He's a scallywag, and he's got his eye on some booty. And boys, he found it. Dallas Fuel loots the horde of Seoul Dynasty.
And with minimal ultimates used there as well. In fact, nothing really committed by the Dallas Fuel. They walk in full confidence damage onto Prophet. Has to start burning utility. You know things are bad when Bliss is able to get onto the back line. It's Krillin down early. One of your healers gone for the Seoul Dynasty. One of the ways you can easily mitigate the Jungle Queen. Taken off that table. Dallas Rhea cowering as well. Way too much damage coming through from the Dallas field. So, again, resource-wise, great for Dallas. First pick, even better for Dallas. That's a big reset for Seoul.
I've been playing on this off angle. It's just so annoying for Dallas Fuel to deal with, and you might even be thinking about disengaging with the rampage when this happens. Belos Rhea, you ain't going to be surviving that one, son. Ball comes up, and that is going to be the true sign between both of these teams as Dallas Fuel will retreat with Sparkle just about living.
Yeah, it would have been pretty nasty losing Sparkle at that moment. Speaking of which, he's the one providing the capability for Dallas Fuel to off angle. It's the TPs that will get Harbin in and out of situations. Speaking of TPs, Prophet's made the swap now. Need a little bit of pace to recontest here. It's final fight potentially. Edison to blow through the ultimate first, and no touch. No touch, unfortunately.
And brother, all that TP, all that speed, all those players, and yet no touch.
I would like to know if Bellastria was CC'd somehow or just pulled back by Harbin. It seems a little weird. You have the Orisa, you can just pull Fortify and walk on.
And the Terra Surge as well. 2 layers of Fortify.
My hero.
Obviously, the only CC available is Bliss's Boop and the pull, as you mentioned. Maybe Bliss was responsible for it. Maybe the main support carry play. Hold up.
It's hard to actually know how that happened because it is a weird one. It is a pretty sour way for Dynasty to lose a round.
It's real.
Could have been a lot closer. Armor's going to come through on a Sigma here, which versus the Orisa would be a really interesting matchup if Bellastria was playing the Orisa, but he's going to be on the ball instead. So he's balling. Prophet's going to come through on a fire. You can tell that Dynasty have been cooked because these are some brand new comps that they've not shown versus anyone else, but they're bringing it out today versus Dallas specifically.
Hearts in the stream if Belos Rhea be balling. And indeed he is. Prophet on the Farah is an ancient pick. And Edison bringing out Venuvo. Looking for Vindime. Oh, and it's so easy for the minigun. Oh, the combat medic in front of the Gatling gun. It's not a good combination. And Harbin can just anchor down on this point. He's going to be near invincible at the moment.
Bliss living there is huge for Dallas Fuel because both Krillin and Vindime did not live. No healing for Dynasty. Dallas Fuel don't have their pickings of it. It's a good change over from Sparkle onto Sombra as well, and Edison's now going to go over towards the cast. They really want to shut down Bellastria. Get the extra hinder from the nade, but that's also effective as a Prophet. If you land that Magnate, Prophet's going to sink right down like an anchor.
Oh,
we can just shoot him down too. That works.
Sink. You know what's faster than a grenade? A bullet. Prophet seems to be catching plenty. Belos Rhea catching some pressure here from the terrible twosome of both Sparkle and Blitz, who at the moment, by the way, is second most on Infernal Blows of his team. 8 of them at the moment. Certainly dangerous on the Lucio, though I would call it a bloodthirsty support.
Slow going for Dynasty. It's a lot of poke that has to come on through. You need Belos Rhea to be able to contest at some point. He's eating rocks. Sparkle's eating SMG fire, and we are starting to lose space for the Dallas field. See what this Nano can provide.
All right, there's a barrage as well if you want to bring out maximum burst. Edison is simply evaporated. He only existed theoretically. And Schrodinger doesn't have a standing opinion on this one. Unbeen boot back in. You ain't going anywhere, bruv.
Now it's all about seeing what Dallas could get with the stall at 68. Not bad. They already had started to lose members, so Humber being slept on point. Know that they just have to hold the point for a little bit longer. Prophet now on towards the Genji. Yeah, I think fighting into the current Dallas lineup would be a little bit tricky, but he got good value off the fire, especially on that last fight. Decent barrage around the back as well. Counters the window coming through from MCD. It's EMP versus EMP now. EasyCon 3% off, and this will be really important for both teams.
EasyCon critically has 3 players in his sights, all of them squishy. There's going to be the minefield. It's actually disabled by the EMP. They're more of a defensive play from Sparkle, but still, Krillin's caught a victim. Hunter should just sneak his
Humber's
way over here
isolated.
by himself as a Sigma, and he is going to be punished here. Surely he can be hacked out of this. Easy clap for Easy
cancel.
Hun, but he wasn't thinking about the Deadeye. A resurrection potentially, no. Vindam just forced to move on elsewhere, and Bliss is chasing it down. Main support versus main support is one of the most sacred duels in Overwatch, but Bliss is ready to duel everyone and sundry as well. Prophet presents his noggin, and it's filled with sound.
Here we go. It's going to be a lot of swaps now. You can tell Vindam's already gone over towards the Lucio, which means we'll see what Bellisria does. It's going to be the Winston instead. Ball is starting to get counted. Not a good matchup for the ball when you look at the DPS lineup of the field, who now put themselves on final fight. Vindam down. 5 versus 4. Krillin, the solo healer. We're still got an EMP on board. It needs to be big. Prophet has to be saved here as well. And Nano's available, but the blade is still a little bit off. And the Nano has to be good to save Bellisria, so no Nano blade anymore.
Oh, the blade. It's going to have to be done by itself. Bellisria just playing to live right now. The shield behind him broken, so the heals can come through. But will they be fast enough? An EMP to try and shut down everything. The blade as well. It's all in from the Seoul Dynasty. All the chips are on the table. The poker hand's been shown. And Dallas Fuel for now.
They can't get support.
To back away. They're just still living. MCD and Bliss. Guerrilla warfare. They're playing around the margins. And they can't be hunted down by the Seoul Dynasty because Seoul can't leave the point. Vindam's been found. Prophet too. They've managed to coalesce on the survivors. And the hostages have been executed. Dallas Fuel open up strong.
What a final round. The final comp coming through is on. That fight was huge. For MCD and Bliss just living through everything. Prophet couldn't hunt them down with the blade. You saw Prophet trying to chase down Bliss, but couldn't happen. Bliss evades him. MCD as well. The two supports from Dallas, who are the sole survivors, end up healing each other through, and that just buys time for the rest of Dallas to come back in, recontest, get the kills required, and Seoul Dynasty just did not get a cleanup. Wow. Good counter comps coming through from Dallas Fuel. Good counter swaps from Edison and Sparkle in general. And they shut down the ball. They shut down the Farah. And we'll take that first map. See you after the break. Hotly contested opening map for our Seoul Dynasty versus Dallas Fuel winners bracket game. 2-1 the scoreline. A bit of a whipsies, possible C9 on night market there from the Seoul Dynasty, but what was otherwise an extremely well played couple of rounds there from the Dallas Fuel, specifically Gardens. Man, that was really clutch from the team.
Yeah, that was impressive coordination between MCD and Bliss, just being able to absolutely Benny Hill most of the Seoul Dynasty and keep each other alive, then come on back using the window, getting an early pick as well, I believe, onto Prophet, who they managed to catch out in a 2 versus 1. Seoul Dynasty ended up in a shambles to try to chase them down, but of course they had to keep one foot on the point, which was an ill fate for them. Now they're deciding to go to Eichenwald. This is well known as essentially Seoul Dynasty, or more accurately, Krillin's map. You do love to play the Ilyari here alongside Prophet's Echo. They have an excellent second point defense utilizing the high grounds, and Krillin's got some lovely little escape routes of the outburst as well.
I mean, every team kind of gets their map so far. Fuel, they're obviously going to favor Lijiang Tower. Their second choice, if we end up, if it were possible to go to another control, it's actually not impossible if this ends up being a draw, would probably be Antarctic Peninsula. So Fuel get their pick of Lijiang, Seoul get their pick of Eichenwald. Map choice are pretty open after that. Flashpoint, as we discussed, probably doesn't really matter in terms of map choice. I think Escort might get really interesting. We go all the way to 5 here. That would be a very close game between our two teams. And I think Fuel would probably prefer Esperanza on map 4 push if that happens as well. So, yeah, but might be a difficult one for Fuel to get past. We'll see how they handle this one. Really good map for, as you mentioned, Krillin, but also Bellatrix playing through the Orisa. Dynasty are very good at defending from the high ground on this map with their comp.
Yeah, and that asks, how are Dallas Fuel going to deal with that? Is it going to be about the teleporters, just try and get that burst ability on the high ground? Are they going to try and assault it with something like a Sparkle Genji or an Echo? But Sparkle's Genji did kind of get outshone yesterday by Viper, even though Dallas Fuel are kind of leagues above the Shanghai Dragons, who are our first team to be eliminated, unfortunately. Unbid now. Sticking with the Junker Queen. This is everything that we've come to expect. Easy Han doesn't hit the first shot. Likely will be sticking. There it is, Bastion.
A long-range javelin, which something does stick, and it's got to be Bliss onto the wall. Very far on the A point. For at least a moment anyway. Opening TP. Sparkle is not the only sim on the field. Prophet is going to play it through on the attack, which I think is smart. Want to be able to move your team around. I think Prophet will also stick onto this for the rest of B as well. So not going to see the May until probably C, as A and B is sim required to get around the map. And speaking of getting around the map, we're already on point.
All the high ground above them. That's a huge boop up onto Easy Han. Still nicely timed with the Immortality Field. Does keep his life on this Mortal Coil for now. We keep on spinning and spinning around as both of these teams jostle for position.
Vindim's getting close. No one on the Dallas Fuel is really getting there just yet. Edison, plenty of damage done. It's far ahead of Easy Han, but here comes the first couple of deaths. Bastion's traded, MCD down. Bliss might be next. This time, can the Seoul Dynasty actually capture the 2 supports or get one of them? Fuel, they're going to give away 2 techs here. They'll wait for the respawns and recontest.
It's going to be difficult to recontest into these Symmetra turrets, but likely we'll go up onto the high ground and allow Hanbin to contest here. Oh, still nice spin. Belos Rhea. Ain't no one coming in here. The inn's all full.
Yeah, that was, oh, well, that's one way to stop a recontest. I mean, Harbin has to lead the way. He's going to be the one to go in there first. And when you go through the small choke in the side room, Bellatrix is the bouncer at the door and says, no ID, no entry. Couple support ultimates online for Dynasty.
Interesting that Bliss is continually trying to boot these teleporters as they come on through. Bastion versus Bastion, but a nano boost makes all the difference. 50% more damage done, 50% less taken. It's not exactly fair, but nothing's fair in Love and War, Avril. As Bliss is taken on down, and Hanbin is unfortunately going to be a blood sacrifice to the gods of Seoul Dynasty.
Bellatrix nearly just spared Hanbin towards Krillin. That would have been pretty disastrous if Hanbin had a carnage available. You can tell that Dallas Fuel, like, they're ready to fight, but they just lack the ultimates. Hanbin's at 99. Sparkle only just got his ult now. MCD and Bliss are still far away. Krillin and Vindime both had ultimates before Bliss and MCD, and goes to show how fast the first 2 fights actually happened, but Bliss will make up for that lack of an ultimate through an early pick on Easy Han. I think that was assisted by a knife, maybe.
Oh, this is a tiny area. It's the worst place to be hit by something like a mortar. Vindime goes low, and it's the regular bullets that finish him off. Prophet, yes, is eking out a touch more push, and at this point, it's just staggers. as Edison has fallen down.
Well, where did we get? We went below the bridge. Or below the higher ground bridge. There's also the main bridge as well. There's 2 bridges on beat.
Yeah.
So payload distance is not bad. But this gives Dallas Fuel some much needed space to play through. They'll start on the high ground, eventually have to drop down, but needs to play the TPs to get back up if required. Seoul Dynasty themselves would probably also like to TP on the high ground. Could be artillery first to open up the map. Prophet also has his own ultimate here that Sparkle can match.
Belos Ria definitely looking for the usage of this TP. The second that it's used, far more easy to get value out of that Terror Surge by dragging everybody in. An opening wall here, and that's going to be a TP up top. What a boot from Bliss, just disrupts the entire game plan. This main support may not bring as much in direct healing as Ziana, but certainly does more than enough when it comes to mispositioning. A Rampage grabs 2, Prophet and Krillin too low. No Immortality Field. It's hell in the cell. And Easyhan's trying to walk away with a belt right here. Easyhan's just done all the damage possible. Seoul Dynasty, though, with only then time for healing, have to be a little bit reticent as to their positioning, as Dallas Fuel will back off and wait to fight another day.
Fuel chose not to beat there. I was watching Bliss the entire way through Hub and did get low, saved by the Immortality Field, and there's a moment of clear direction where if Dallas Fuel believed that they were not going to win the fight, they could have used a sound barrier to confirm that, but they trusted the team and did not think that the Seoul Dynasty were going to be able to come through ahead. Fortunately for them, the Seoul Dynasty do come through ahead. Easyhan now takes Bliss, so that's going to be the sound barrier taken off the table entirely. Who is even contesting right now? It is Harbin, but he's kind of living on a sliver, and he's gone.
Without that Immortality Field, the anti was absolutely brutal. Hello, I found you. Bastion on Bastion violence. Somebody put it away. Oh, Easyhan, what
so
a
good.
teleport coming through from Prophet. An amazing read from Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, you see Edison just going for the artillery. You know it's a desperate play. Seoul Dynasty just say, you want to do that. Here's Easyhan in your face, off-angling straight away with the TP, and Dallas can do nothing about it. Losing Bliss is really the bad part about that, because he's got the most important ultimate, and Fuel could contest. They definitely lose the most important member right at the top. Here comes the sound barrier now.
Locked on here, trying to get rid of Edison. Now it's Easyhan's turn to put out the wheels, bring out the cannon, but Bliss has managed to frag on out already. It's Velucio who's continually showing up in the kill feed. And look at all those assists as well. Belos Ria. Oh, that would have been a nasty javelin, but doesn't want to risk getting staggered himself, so Bliss will back off.
Nearly got booped off the map, actually, so that would have been pretty nuts. Sparkle still has ult here. And a very clear line of sight for MCD to assist Edison in damage, as Vindime doesn't quite match the Ant Matrix. A lot of aggression being shown by the Dallas Fuel, and they can get it, or can they actually? 2 members are stuck. The wall is good for Prophet. Harbin might go down here. If Harbin goes down, anything's possible, but it's Edison. Damage through the window, and it will just shred through the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, double damage gonna do that. Oh, and Seoul Dynasty cannot get away from Edison. Look at this, sneaky beaky, okay. Just getting a little bit of early poke maybe, as we were discovered early, so instead retreat to some pre-defensive positions.
Vindime's turn. Sparkle might have to play this photon barrier defensively to block out the effects of the window.
There's the wall coming through. That's going to be a big charge up onto that beam. In comes the artillery. Difficult to try and negotiate that one under there with the wall. Still an attempt made. It's right on top of both for DPS. Oh, no. They're clustered together, cuddling for safety. But it's a macabre scene of lovers entwined.
I tell you what, man, Dallas are playing this super well because they know the weakness of Seoul Dynasty is their rotation right now. You very rarely see a team push out this far from C, because typically it's quite dangerous. But Seoul Dynasty keep pushing the side room. They're not pushing main. Here you go. They're going to have to burn the window. But guess what? Fuel just disengage. Just get out straight away. Harbin. Uh-oh. He doesn't have the option to get out. Is the TP there? It is. Oh, no, it's not. It's gone.
He
might have to rampage.
He might have to
use it.
There's Venano. Anyone frozen? It's Edison first. Oh, hello, Easyhan. Quick flick there. And, oh, that was optimistic from Hanbin. I love myself an optimist, but some might call it silly. In comes the Terror Surge, trying to teleport around it. Sparkle does indeed have time to play his life. Krillin next up in the crosshairs. The body block's not there. And that might actually have some long-term consequences for Seoul Dynasty.
See what they can do with it.
Still alive.
This is still chilling. It's fine. He dodges the spear, so we're good for now. 30 seconds left to go, roughly. Seoul Dynasty have lost a ton of time, and they have to burn ultimates just to get through the gate. And that's the best part about this with Dallas. They, despite losing that fight, forced a lot out of Seoul Dynasty. Yes, they had to burn a rampage. As you said, optimistic. So what Edison can do. Good angle so far. Lamp gone. The sleep is pretty nasty.
Eyes on Easy Han. Edison popping off here. It's easy for Hanbin.
Like
Edison simply finishing off the kills as they're laid up by Hanbin. He's got the guide rails up on the bowling pins, but hey, a strike is a strike, baby. And Dallas Fuel strike true on their second point defense.
I think Dallas just had the Seoul Dynasty rotations locked down when it comes to the C point. They struggled in A and B, but as I mentioned at the start of this map, Seoul Dynasty were going to play Prophet on the Sim for A and B, swapped to the Mei for C, but the issue with swapping to Mei is that you lack the TPs for strong early rotations. However, it shouldn't be an issue because most teams are not holding aggressively out of spawn. Here's the problem that we do see. As you watch Edison just roll through double damage on the entire Seoul Dynasty offense, Seoul continually want to rotate through the castle for some reason instead of just going main on bridge. I don't know if they were concerned about the damage output. Their poke is actually stronger. They shouldn't be concerned about that. They can always just wall off members as well and just prevent them from damaging to give themselves an advantage. And Seoul just runs headfirst into Hanbin time and time and time again. They run headfirst into Dallas Fuel, essentially blocking them in those chokes, and it was only when Dynasty finally went main on bridge that they actually broke out of that. They could have rescued themselves by either having the Sim, which hindsight 2020 there, I think the Mei is better generally on C because once you actually get on towards the main pathways, the main lane of C, you're not thinking about how do I get out of spawn. That shouldn't be a consideration for the Seoul Dynasty, and yet Dallas Fuel pseudo spawn camp them on C, which is quite rare.
I mean, playing devil's advocate here, maybe they were scared of going bridge to begin with, thinking about environmental kills. Bliss and Hanbin both have the opportunity
Bliss
to
just
throw
dies.
them off there.
Bliss dies. If Bliss goes for an environmental on that bridge, he is dead.
You say
Like,
Bliss
Easy Han
dies,
goes
but
turret.
Bliss has lived through a lot of weird stuff today.
He's also died super early in a couple fights that costed Dallas. It's gone both ways.
True. Anyway, no Iliari this time. Seoul Dynasty. A different approach. Maybe thinking that Dallas Fuel may well have done their research on this one.
But you need the Ana. You need the Ana for the Queen. I firmly believe that. So I think this is a good pick. Oh, that's a nice right click from Sparkle onto Prophet.
Yeah, the poke those does. Unbelievable. Instant destruction of the teleporter, but in the end, no harm, no foul. Dallas Fuel simply getting a little bit of a reset. Begging for Bellows Rear to maybe overextend himself just a touch. Or even a juicy target like Prophet to present himself.
Gotta go the long way. All the way into the back. We're just swapping sides of the map. Seoul Dynasty will lose high ground here, but they also don't really need it. Dallas can't use high ground nearly as effectively. This would be a lot more dangerous if MCD has window. He does not. Spear gets thrown in. But the extra poke. No one's really close enough to an ultimate here, so yeah, it's only take a 1 minute to do this rotation. LS3 is as long as he prevents the first stick from coming on through, Dynasty are fine.
Alright, Hanbin uses the shout, speed up given. Edison in the back, might well be off the side as well. Big spear from Bellows Rear. I tell you, this guy, when he's in a bracket game, he goes absolutely nutter butters.
A lot of dead though. Dynasty, they come out ahead on this fight, but their respawns are not in a good position at all. Fuel, especially with TP available and ultimates coming online. Looking at Sparkle, they can rush towards the point extremely quickly. The spear will slow things down slightly. It's Vindime and Easy Han who are still making their way through. You can see through the walls on the silhouettes that, yeah, they're not quite here yet.
You can see. However, Hanbin finds multiple players with the Carnage. Prophet copies it over. What an excellent copy the Junker Queen is for self-healing and the shout. Work in tandem so well. Bliss going to be spotted here. Just managed to get... Oh,
Huge
what
knife.
a knife. Oh, Prophet. Shades of Dia from the old days. Most DPS players picking up Junker Queen. Crazy.
Yeah, that was a fadeaway knife as well. He didn't even know he was going to hit that one, but he does, and that's one way to take down Bliss. Still, the tick is missing from the Dallas Fuel. Can Dynasty actually hold this? Yep. Straight away. Window. Edison is destroyed by Easy Han's double damage, and Easy Han will make it 3. Time is running out. This is not a good look. Hanbin is next to full. I mean, again, good ultimates online for Fuel, but this is a huge reset.
Man, peeking that window bastion. It's never going to work out, boys and girls. Don't try it. Come on. You're better than this. Seoul Dynasty. It's essentially Fort Knox right now with the Terror Surge and the Artillery. Dallas Fuel's rotations might be somewhat taxed by these.
They have the window now, so the team that has the window has the better bastion damage. Means Fuel can force positioning.
Many forced away. Hanbin instantly
Oh,
has
Hanbin
Rampage
is all cancelled.
interrupted.
Hanbin lost his ult.
We heard a little shout, a little yelp, and a little scream from the Dallas Fuel. A major cadre of ultimates simply flushed down the drain along with much of their time.
Oh, that is rough. You bought the space with the window with Edison's damage. Hanbin wanted to get aggressive, but he got punished. They got the tech, but it's not enough. You got to get through the whole damn map, essentially. And feel they got more to play through, but oh man, what can they do here? Bliss on half HP. TP's expended. You're praying no one dies. This artillery strike, and it seems like everyone will be fine. You might just have to tempo beat. That's it. That's the only option. Tempo beat away.
Edison returns fire into the Hunter's Lodge. No one there to catch it except for Vindime. Grabs the last one. Easy Han's gone low as well. Is it going to fall apart at the final hurdle here for the Seoul Dynasty? Yes, the sleep is good, but the defense, that's going to crack eventually. Still, Dallas Fuel now they're up against the clock.
Wow, that was insane. I mean, Edison really saved the day. I think that was what an artillery that ends up landing, buys a little bit of space for the Dallas Fuel. It was looking pretty bad. It was looking like the potential for the full hold to come through, but Fuel will continue living. Can they get through B, though? I would argue strongly that B is a lot more difficult. Double Baronade hit. Armbin. It's okay. Edison's not.
Driving them to the cliffs, kicking them off. No fall damage. No fall damage in Overwatch though, so we are quite okay. Seoul Dynasty will reset to the high ground.
Time is not their friend here. They got to get through the map. I mean, okay, Dynasty didn't finish, but still almost more than halfway actually through C. Which went to OT on A, so that's 4 minutes gone of your total time. Sparkle can't die. He is the member that has the mobility for the team. Edison. Did he cancel the beam early? I'm not sure what happened there.
Just didn't want to peek into the wheels, I suppose. Getting the Immortality field out was more than enough. Now, schemes and plans. That's a huge boop here. Easy Hands all the way into the back. A nicely placed wall. The Hanbin can't risk peeking this one. Bliss is far too close. An Immortality field, yes, but Edison has struck on back. And the plans of Seoul Dynasty just left awry with only a nano boost used, admittedly, against 3 ultimates.
Nearly died to the nade being thrown by Edison long range there. That was a huge ultimate from Sparkle. Blocks out Easy Hunt. They know they've been flanked before. They know they've lost to that flank before. Gonna let that happen twice in a row, but Dynasty are the ones that hold on to ultimates this time around. Harvard got pulled down. Didn't get picked the DP. Is he dead? He's 100% dead. That is an insanely up to front play by Bellastria. He just read Hanbin like a book.
Whew. Okay. Huge play with the Terror Surge. Doesn't come up in the kill feed, but we all saw what happened. No high ground for you, and of course dragging them away from a TP as well means there's no disengagement option. And now with 25 seconds left, Hanbin cannot afford to get his ultimate interrupted again. This has to go huge.
There's so many ways, but there's so many ways to interrupt it. A good spare, a sleep down from Krillin, even just Bellastria face tanking with the javelin spin. Unless he dies, well, no face tanking now from Orisa. Fuel, they're in the lead. Can they do this? Prophet doesn't pop up, but he wants to save it. Are they going to get a recontest? It's not looking like it. Bliss can solo cap, and he will.
Yeah, Bliss just going to sit on the cart, merry little time, listen to his tunes, and this is going to be it. Only a minute and a half, but only 40 meters to cover. Now, it's anyone's game.
How the hell did they get Bellastria there? That was incredible.
He face tanked, man, but not the Rampage. Just 5 members of Dallas Fuel.
Everybody, yeah, everybody. All the damage.
Roadhog style.
Well, Dallas Fuel now give themselves a shot to take away the map and the lead in the series. And I'm not just talking about 1-0, I'm talking about match point. He's going to try and slow him down. DP burned. Oh, yep. This will be at least good to counter out that window. Off with the copy.
Hanbin, Rampage still in the back pocket. Against all of this, may well decide that it's not worth it. It's a huge disengage from Dallas Fuel. Not losing anyone here, and Seoul Dynasty are just having 2 of their ultimates expire. This Prophet plays around the periphery. Might well spawn with less health as well. No, it's a full health respawn on the Echo. Hanbin still has designs.
This is not the point you should be playing the Echo. He's already burned the ultimate, which is good. Obviously, you can't afford to go back to spawn yet, but next death, he needs to go over towards the May. You gotta buy time here, Dynasty. You gotta bleed this one down to 0. Sparkle's got a big ult. He'll burn it now. Bellastria wants to pull everyone back and then in again. Here comes the Rampage. This time, nothing to stop it. Catches forward, Bellastria down early. And if Vindime and Krillin fall as well, it might just be the cap. It will be the cap. Dallas Fuel gonna lead 2-0.
Absolutely massive Rampage with a sound barrier in excess. Bliss is grinning from ear to ear. And you can see that Hanbin is bloody relieved. After that point A, Dallas Fuel certainly thought that they were staring down their mortality on Eichenwald, but here, on Seoul Dynasty's preferred map, one of their best maps this entire meta. They've been slain by the Junker Queen and the Rush of a Fuel.
Incredible sight so far, and that is the Fuel. That's Dynasty's map choice as well. And Dynasty have been damn good on Icon Vault so far, but up against the Dallas Fuel, a minimal time. It wasn't enough, and our time seems to run low for Dynasty. We'll see what they can do after this break.
Let them up.
It's looking blue today. That's the weather report. Dallas Fuel 2-0, leading match points so far. Seoul Dynasty It's cloudy above their heads. I'm not gonna lie. Eichenwalde could have been their map at several points. A, looking like a full hold. B as well. Time was running out. Dallas were down to one last fight. Time and time again, Dallas find the clutch factor and Seoul do not.
Check the forecast. Cloudy with a chance of mortars, actually. Or artillery, depending on how specific you want to be. But Edison continually catching out members of the Seoul Dynasty with the artillery strike, either through ingenuity in its placement or through maybe a little bit of a brain fart sometimes from players strafing into predictable directions. And one of the things that Edison's been doing is that he's been holding a couple of shots in reserves. He puts out the first one quite early and then studies he looks over them like a god with a magnifying glass over a bunch of ants, and then just looks to see how they scurry about before making his final incision with those mortars. Still, it seems like spirits are high for Belos Ria. For the DPS of a Seoul Dynasty, maybe slightly less so.
I've just come up with a new concept for a brand new hero. Here we go.
Ooh.
It's we'll talk about. We've seen Symmetra, we've seen Torbjorn. We know Mortality Field is there for the builders. I'm proposing a brand new builder hero. His ult is just like Bastion's ultimate, and instead of raining down artillery, you're just playing RTS, placing down. You're just placing down constructibles. Like an RTS.
Oh, dude,
that's the ultimate.
You're gonna get the StarCraft sequel betas in here. Like, yo, is this StarCraft 3? Is it gonna drop in Overwatch 2? That'd be a good season 8, StarCraft 3 and Overwatch 2 confirmed. 100%. I thought you were gonna say like if you're having trouble with the artillery, we need a builder that just makes umbrellas and parasols.
You talk about Bastion players holding shots. The real 9-head play would be to hold all 3 shots. You actually don't shoot at all.
Oh.
And the other teams just constant like, when is it coming? Where is it going to come from? You just don't know.
So at that point, it's not like a cosmetic ult. It's like a audio only ult.
It's a pure psychological ultimate.
the
a purely psychological ultimate. Yep, that's it.
It's not about if you die to an airstrike. It's about could you.
He's not back on the soldier.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back on the Ilari. A little bit of the classics from the Seoul Dynasty squad. I do think their damage output is going to suffer a little bit from the lack of the Bastion. Edison will definitely be enjoying that. We'll see if Easy Khan can just beam down players long range like he did on Gaga's Jungle Queen yesterday. I'm going to have to look out a little bit for that.
Oh, Krillin, the outburst, just about enough to get away. And a Maywall coming up behind them does mean that Delafield for a moment are in no man's land. Should they still be able to teleport onto this point and keep it contested if they wish to, but for now they'll play their time, go up to the high ground instead. Hanbin, oh, he drops down upon Vindheim, doesn't know what hit him, but the Immortality Field gives him, yes, a little bit more respiration. Unfortunately, the metabolism won't last for that long. Belos Ria beam to the back, and when Dallas Fuel collapse, so does Seoul Dynasty.
Unfortunately, Vindheim got trolled by Prophet's wall there. And Harbin says, that's a free kill. Is that a wall for me or what? Thank you. It's not even my birthday.
Friendly fire.
And Dallas Fuel will get that. I was going to say they get the first cap. They get the first fight win. It's actually Dynasty that get the first cap. Dallas Fuel needed a little bit more rotation time. They're overtaking just a hot minute here. No one's really that close to ultimates. Edison, as you'd expect, would do the most damage in that exchange. He's the only Bastion on the field.
One bot to rule them all. And then the teleports to bind them. Edison for now, just looking for what potential entry angle Seoul Dynasty may look for. Of course, when the Iliari is attacking, she's slightly weaker. They want Easy Heart, and they're gonna get him. Man just cannot run fast enough. Boy do be sprinting, but teleporting is faster than human legs, apparently. Science has gone too far.
Now Dynasty got to work something out, buy themselves back in. The wall will do nothing here, but can at least give Dynasty something to play through. Seems like a decent enough. Captain Sun, will it catch enough? It's catching plenty. That is enough to win the fight for sure. My goodness, Krillin onto 3. He saves the day. What an ult.
Wow. Have a Senzu been my son. Excellent save. Seoul Dynasty were relying on Krillin for plays like this. It's been what's defined their meta so far. Krillin's Iliari play. They kind of are our version of the Toronto Defiant. And it seems like they've abandoned the hopes of trying to match Dallas Fuel with the Bastion coordination as Edison opens up with an artillery strike.
You only get to Captain Sun like one every maybe 3 fights here, so maths does not work out for Dynasty if they can't get more often. the Blizzard do something. You're catching enough members. Okay. Sparkle didn't quite take any damage in that. I think he went past his own wall, and that blocked out most of Velasria's damage from the Terror Surge. For 5 versus 4 though, Harbin. Now it's time for the Rampage. Double backline caught, nothing to save them. Should be 2 kills. No supports alive would be disastrous for the Seoul Dynasty. And Dime, still alive. Off it. Knifed backwards, but knifed away from the point contest as well, which means Fuel catch it.
Yeah. That was a perfect stagger there from Hanbin onto Prophet, just making sure we couldn't get that touch. No overtime. This is a preferable spawn though for Seoul Dynasty. Mind you, they are a little bit further away as multiple players are still respawning. This is going to give Dallas Fuel time to set up.
See what Visor can do here as well. Difficulty with the Visor is that the Dallas Fuel is stacked up as they are. I don't know if you really got to have any choice in the targets. Also, Fuel known to just TP in your face, and they TP'd into EasyCon multiple times, so it's hard because as a soldier, you want to be flanking. You don't want to be caught out. If you are flanking, he's already running. He's already running. He's scared.
He's just leaving, my guy. He's done with this. Did manage to take out the Immortality Field, ironically, the one thing that you don't need aim assist to look at. Velasria. Oh, that's a troll wall. That's a bit of a troll there. Prophet makes sure that there's no way to help Velasria. You can deal with them. I'll be over here.
They were all dead anyway.
Crying.
They were all dead. I don't think there's wall or no. Dynasty get wiped 100%. I think EasyCon needs to start thinking about other heroes. I think Dynasty might need to start thinking about some of the earlier successes they found on the other maps. Because unfortunately, you were talking about psychological warfare here. EasyCon, because he's so scared of being TP'd on, he vises and then runs. Like, he doesn't even shoot. He just straight up runs.
Psyop too strong. That wall ain't lasting long. Krillin, no clutch this time. No resurrections. No second chances. And you said that they got to start thinking about swapping heroes. They got to start thinking about facing the Guangzhou charge if this carries on.
Good news for them is they did well versus the Guangzhou charge. Brilliant. Thought about it. He's going to stay on the Alari. Now the problem for this comp, for this map, is it's going to be slow going. No Lucio is certainly a choice for Flashpoint. Might be a choice that ends up costing them. Are they going to survive? Yeah, okay. Dodging.
No Psyop this time. Krillin beamed down in the air. Easy track for MCD. Easy Han's gone as well.
By the way.
It's a diaspora here of Seoul Dynasty. They're not together, and how could they be? They're being assaulted from every single side. Yes, you might get a consolation kill onto Sparkle, but you ain't gonna get yourself a point. And now,
like somehow I knew it. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it was Jaws and Custer. Despite having the lower bracket game, they were gonna get the banger, and we were gonna get served with a 3-0. And currently, the Dallas Fuel 2-0 up on Survasa, which means Dynasty have to reverse sweep the map and the series at the same time. Krillin will make that swap over towards the Ana now. So that's one part of the equation solved. I think you're going to have a lot more disruption versus Harbin. That nade actually almost just kills MCD. Rotating is still going to be a little bit difficult. Easy Hard back on the bash, and this is a much better comp. Admittedly, I think this is the comp they probably should have started with. See if they can get it done.
If a reverse sweep can start, it would be the most reverse of all the sweeps possible here. Prophet lays down the Blizzard. Multiple players managed to TP out of that one. Hanbin finds Krillin. Oh, the hero that was, that is, that continues to be. Dallas Fuel tear through the Seoul Dynasty. And let me tell you, Hanbin close to deadlifting right now. 13 out of 29 final blows.
What a good map. Hardly contested. I mean, we saw that earlier with no Ana on board. Seoul Dynasty with a soldier on Easy Hand that is, I mean, you're gonna lose every single poke battle versus the Edison Bastion. That's just guaranteed. Now Prophet's gonna go over towards the Sim. They're solving problems one by one here. Now you got some mobility. You like the Lucio for Flashpoint. Okay, the Sim alleviates a little bit of that. Prophet half HP, by the way. You finally got the Ana on board. Was the Alari okay? Cool Captive Sun, by the way. But like I said, if you only win 1 out of 3 fights with that, math is not in your favor. Seoul Dynasty. Ana are a little bit more consistent in the neutrals. Now 80%. 80%'s about final fight.
Ooh, solving problems, but also causing them. The artillery strike not noted. Easy Hand given the nano boost. A hero is demanded, but it's going to be just delayed entirely by the sound barrier. Bliss said, I want myself some glory too. Turn it up to 11 and bring in the pain. Velasria sends MCD to the sky. Maybe he's a firework, but Seoul Dynasty, they're not in a celebratory mood right now.
Velasria clutch. He lived. Got the damage and the kills. He was low at several points there as well. Saw his HP dip. They're gonna survive. What is this, a 0 to 99 start? So, you know, talk about reverse sweeping. Start with just the map. They're gonna have to take back market from, not market, Garden. Our third Garden in the entire Overwatch map pool. Anyway, from 0 to 99.
A lot of
window,
bottists.
which is important. And they find the value because Fuel can always back away.
And back away they may well do. In a small room
See the
here.
strategy. You hold all 3 shots, like I said.
Just try and bleed that time. Now, Dallas Fuel only have 1 fight to try and take this back, and we still have to deal with this window. Could be troublesome. Knife doesn't hit pay dirt this time. Baited out by Profit. And EasyHan and Vindice just holding as long as they can. When they hold this one, the double damage comes on through. The wall could be troublesome, and indeed it is. Edison! Oh, he's torn them asunder. The armor has been cloven in twain. And Seoul Dynasty, all they can do is have Belosaria have a little cry. Ain't no touching, ain't no dreams, ain't no hope. And it's the lower bracket for Seoul Dynasty as Dallas Fuel tear through their opposition.
That was insanely good by the Dallas Fuel, and you see towards the end there, reason they wait, they're looking for the Sparkle Photon Barrier before they engage. Okay, there's only going to be one last fight. Well, let's make it a good one. Photon Barrier is going to nullify most of the effects of the Ant Matrix coming through from the Seoul Dynasty. And with that, Edison rolls on through. He takes down his counterpart of EasyHan's Bastion. It will be the Dallas Fuel cleaning things up. Clean as a whistle. 3-0 on Siravasa, 3-0 in the series. They gave away points. It got close at various times. Both the first 2 maps were extremely competitive. Map 3, not so much. But Dallas Fuel, it still says 3-0 on the docket. And they are looking like the best team in the bracket for play-ins.
Dallas Fuel, previously they had only been losing to the Hangzhou Spark. But Hangzhou Spark aren't in play, and so they're feeling real good. And who else could your player of the match be? The man with the big brain, the big cannon, and the big frags. Edison is your player of the match. And well, it might be corny to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. A bit of a Bastion gap.
Well, one of the maps there wasn't even a Bastion on the other side for like 90% of it, so there you go.
That's the easiest way to get a Bastion gap.
The easiest way to get a Bastion gap is when the team doesn't have one at all. Which I'm not saying you need one to win, but you look at Seoul Dynasty, it's like, you know, you're still playing like a poker-based composition. You can't hope to outpoke unless you have one of your own. They figured that out eventually, but not in time, because Edison still gets the multi-frag in the final fight, and he laid down the covering fire, the suppressing fire, the everything in this series, man. We have got some good clips ahead with, I think, some multi-frags on the artillery as well, which is quite nice to see, especially just knowing where to place those to make sure that there's no escape coming through from the Seoul Dynasty at all.
Man, can I just fanboy the mechanical tracking Edison has? Like, I don't hear people talk about Edison enough when it comes to, like, mechanical hit scans. Not as much maybe on the
tracking
flips,
is steady?
but I would say the tracking is steady. I'd say the talent is there, but tracking is steady.
Right. Just checking.
Oh, it's actually the same clip twice, or maybe... It's okay.
It's so good, you got to see it twice.
Yeah, it's because of a steady tracking, man. Just that steady.
I didn't even catch the... Yeah. That's pretty good. He just takes down the pharmacy duo by himself.
Yeah. 2v1.
Highlight reel as well. We haven't even seen any of the... I think he had at least one good artillery clip over on Nike involved it.
Yeah, it's going to come up next, I think, with a disengage here. Yep, here we go. Here's a nice little double. Holds it for as long as possible. There's the first, and now holds 2. 1, 2, bam, bam.
I mean, they're all walking up. Slow, narrow stairway. Easy frags. And this is the good comp for Dallas Fuel. I mean, they're so practiced on it. The only time you will ever see Dallas Fuel not play this comp is when they have to play against the Hangzhou Spark, who force them off it because the Doom coming through from Goucheray is just too much for even the Bastion to handle. But this last fight, this was good. That ultimate from Sparkle, clutch.
Yeah,
you can just see the cover that it allows. Just gives you the cover for Edison to frag out. Just go in here from the Dallas Fuel, translated by Unknown. See what they're saying.
안녕하세요, 블리스 선수 반갑습니다.
Hello, Bliss. How are you?
플레이인 2연승 중인 댈러스 퓨얼인데요. 승리 소감 먼저 들어볼게요.
2 wins and counting for the Fuel. How do you feel?
이겨서 기쁘고요. 아직 그래도 한 경기 남아 있어서 방심은 하면 안 될 것 같아요.
Well, I definitely feel good, but we still have a very
많은
important match
말씀해
remaining, so I don't want to be
서울에서
complacent.
카운터 조합을 준비해 왔습니다. 리장 타워에선 파르시도 나왔고요. 그때 델러스는 깜짝 시그마를 들고 와서 역 카운터를 치는 모습을
The
보여주셨는데
Dynasty brought up a few interesting comps to counter the fuel, notably the Pharah on Lijiang. You answered with the Sigma. What was the comms like when you saw the pharmacy?
상대 쪽에서도 그렇게 나와서 좀 많이 당황했던 것 같아요.
아, 예상하지 못한 상황이었군요.
So we didn't particularly
Hey.
expect the pharmacy to come out
아,
at that
그렇군요.
particular
그럼에도
moment,
불구하고 그런
but
플랜 B를
I
준비해서
thought that
카운터를
as a
치는
team we
모습이었는데
kind of
리장 타워에 대한
overcame it
얘기를
very well.
조금만 더 하자면요. 블리스 선수가 혹시 그 루시우들이 날뛰는 그 장문철 존이라고 아시나요?
네, 들어본 것 같아요.
네, 그 장소에서
So let's talk about your performance at Lijiang. Do you know the boot zone?
낙사를 성공시키시던데
I think I do.
팀원들이 상대방의 위치를 알려주신
And
건가요?
you
아니면
managed
블리스
to boot
선수가
two
감으로
players to their
낙사를
demise.
시킨 건가요?
Did your teammates help you locate where the opposition was, or was it just by pure instinct?
있어서 낙사시켰던 것 같아요.
I think it was neither. I just
또
was
델러스
there.
이제
I just was.
바스티온 조합을 계속해서
I was just there, and then
이용하셨는데
the opponents happened to be there, so I was pretty lucky on
바스티온의
that.
포격으로 이니시를 많이 여는 그런 모습이 보였습니다. 에디슨 선수의 궁 타격률도 굉장히 높았고요. 근데 그 와중에 이 난전 상황에서 루시우가 뒤로 돌아서 혼자 화물을 미는 모습이
So let's talk about
보이더라고요.
Eichenwald for a sec.
슬라인을 블리스 선수가
We saw you solo
노리신
push the
건가요?
cart on Eichenwald and capture point B. Was this something
그냥
like an
변수를
intention
보려고
to
했는데
C9, or was there any other
잘 안
intentions to it?
됐던 것 같아서 내일은 좀 잘 준비해야 될 것 같아요.
그런 상황까지 고려를 하셔서 한 선택이라고
So,
말씀을
to be
해주셨습니다.
honest, I think the fight
마지막
was
질문
pretty much done.
드리겠습니다. 이제
So I
한
just
번만
wanted,
더
and we didn't
이기면
have a lot of time on the
플레이오프에
timer,
진출을
so
하게 됩니다.
I just wanted
앞으로의
to get
매치에
in the
대한
payload
각오
as quickly as possible.
부탁드립니다.
그냥 진짜 방심하지 않고 준비 잘해서 플레이오프 꼭 갈 수 있도록
So,
하겠습니다.
what's your resolve coming into the
여기까지
rest of the plans?
응원하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
We'll definitely
감사합니다.
prepare a lot and then
지금까지.
make sure we make it to all the way to Toronto. And that's the end of the interview. Back to you.
Very cool. As expected, we all knew this was the case, didn't we? 3-2 followed by 3-0, as it was written. I got the telescope out. I looked at the stars, and I was like, yeah, there it is. I see it in the constellations.
I mean, the astronomy of Avril yet to be proven wrong. I hope that tomorrow your telescope provides 2 3-2s, because of course we still have 2 matches to go in our East bracket. Guangzhou Charge versus the Dynasty, which last time ended fairly ignominiously, but Jinmu is on a bit of a tear right now.
I can tell you that it will be impossible to have 2 3-2s tomorrow, because if the first match is a 3-2, the second one will definitely not be a 3-2.
Oh yeah, because it's first to 4.
No, because
I don't know
Charge
if it's a
Dynasty,
first
if
of
Charge Dynasty goes to 3-2, then Fuel is 3-0 and 4-0 and whoever wins that is actually what I'm
Okay.
trying to say.
Ah, man. Nah, I want a bag of final, Avril. Don't kill my
Okay,
vibe.
in that case, you would like the winner of Charge Dynasty to be a 3-0, and then you can have your banger final.
Yeah, just come in, untired, moisturized, in their lane, ready to play some more Orisa Bastion against Dallas Fuel. Guangzhou Charge, of course, still have a chance, but given what we've seen previously, it is a long shot. Dallas Fuel are far and away the favorites right now, having... we expected this to be split into 2 tiers. The Guangzhou Charge and Shanghai Dragons tier, and the Seoul Dynasty and Dallas Fuel tier, but it might be in 3 tiers, with a tier break between Seoul Dynasty and Dallas Fuel.
Certainly plenty to look forward to, as we'll be saying goodbye to 2 teams tomorrow. Wow, that's quite a lot.
Sad.
Because today Shanghai is gone, 07, and tomorrow only 1 team makes it through to Toronto, the other 2 do not. 3 will leave this bracket, 1 will survive. All to play for, really.
It's going to be 1 celebration and 3 funerals, so we're going to be packing out your weekend calendar. And of course, North America is returning as well for all of you who want to see even more teams try and put it all on the line to get to Toronto and join us for the Overwatch League Grand Finals. It's going to be an absolute banger. If you don't know the venue, it's what we used for Summer Showdown last year, where it was fantastic. I guarantee if you go, it's going to be a fantastic time.
Yeah, well, today's matches ended up with as we saw there, a very nice 5-0, a little bit more work for the Seoul Dynasty to do. Still close enough that if you were able to catch the first 2 maps, you'd see the potential for Seoul Dynasty. I mean, we could have seen a very different series had the first 2 maps maybe gone a different way. But that Saravasa needs to be examined by Seoul Dynasty a lot. Also, I'm kind of thinking as well that Seoul Dynasty, they know they got a second shot at this one. They'll say, okay, well, if we do lose here, we'll beat the Charge again because we 3-0'd them last time. We'll get that rematch versus Dallas in that finals, and we'll see how things happen from there. But yeah, the way the double Elam works is at least they'll be able to maybe learn from this experience, you'd imagine. I don't think we've seen the very best from Seoul Dynasty just yet. I'd be surprised that if we get the rematch, it'll be a clean sweep. Obviously, as we mentioned. Actually, no, I don't think it'll be a BO7. I'm pretty sure it's first to 3 the entire way through, if I got it correct. So
might well be. I might be spreading misinformation on the internet because, you know,
pretty sure it'll be
I'm a roguish devil. And honestly, that Saravas needs to be examined not only by the Seoul Dynasty, but by psychologists as well to figure out how much fear one man can feel that Easyhan is unfortunately having to pop his visor and then instantly run away because of simply the fear of being TP'd on. It was a sad time to go up
just
against
don't run the soldier is the answer to that question.
Yeah, or if you're on the soldier, don't run. You've got 2 options.
Well, you probably die if you don't run, so either way, it's just pretty rough. So, I mean...
He died both ways, to be honest.
That's true. Yeah, you die the slow way or the quick way or whichever way you want to cut it.
You can choose your end. It's but both of them are bloody and violent and usually sponsored by Edison, evidently having some dreams of Tesla and that weird rivalry. As yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Guangzhou Charge, obviously they're always the wild card, but I think that Seoul Dynasty are fairly clean play, like you said, the first 2 maps. Seoul Dynasty definitely could have taken those without a couple of missteps. You wonder what might have happened if they hadn't had an APAC 9 on Night Market, which was not the greatest way to finish that particular fight when there were so many ults that Seoul Dynasty definitely could have pulled out with. And honestly, it looked like a strong beginning for the Seoul Dynasty when I believe it managed to take Control Center while taking out what should have been one of the best brawl maps for Harbin's Junker Queen.
And while we got a little bit of time before we send things off, we can sort of preview the last weekend of plans for everybody. We'll finish tomorrow, but NA still has a couple of days ahead. They've still got Boston, Toronto in the upper bracket, Shock versus Titans, and then Justice, London Spitfire in that lower bracket as well. So, yeah, it'll be a real slobber knocker of a elimination for just about everybody in the next several hours. So, that's it from the Eastern broadcast. Stick around for NA in, I don't know, probably not actually 8 hours. Long time to stick around, but
a while.
Go have a nap and then come back for NA, and we'll see you all tomorrow.